Hello, it is Foundation Friday, June 23rd, 2023. Steve Sipress here with another in our multi-part series on the fantastic foundational book, The Magic of Thinking Big by Dr. David J. Schwartz. We are in the chapter, Use Goals to Help You Grow. And Dr. Schwartz lets us know that the person determined to achieve maximum success learns the principle that progress is made one step at a time. A house is built one brick at a time. Football games are one a play at a time. A department store or any business grows bigger one customer or client or patient at a time. Every big accomplishment is a series of little accomplishments. And then he gives an example of soldiers in a war that had a long way to march to the evacuation point. It was 140 miles. It was going to take weeks. So if they thought about, oh, could I possibly, they were injured, they got injured along the way, they were tired, they were hungry, bad weather conditions. If they thought 140 miles, they never would have made it. But they always thought, we could hobble to the next ridge. We could make the next friendly village for the night, on and on and on, and that's all they had to do. And eventually they made their goal and they got the heck out of there. It talks about a writer who took on a project to write a multiple 100-page book, 250,000 words. It's about 1,000 pages, by the way. So it's probably a series of books. And he said, I could not bear to let my mind dwell on the whole scope of the project. I would surely have abandoned what has become my deepest source of professional pride. I tried to think only of the next paragraph, not the next page, and certainly not the next chapter. So for 6 solid months, I never did anything but set down one paragraph after another, and the book wrote itself. On and on and on and on. So the principle of the next mile, going back to the example of the soldiers marching 140 miles 1 mile at a time, it works for the soldiers, it'll work for you. The step-by-step method is the only intelligent way to obtain any objective. The best formula I have heard, says Dr. Schwartz, for quitting smoking, the one which has worked for more of my friends than any other, I call the hour-by-hour method. They don't try and quit smoking immediately. They quit smoking for 1 hour, and then another and another, and so on and so on. So winning any objective requires a step-by-step method. To the new worker, to the business owner, each assignment, each task, however insignificant it may appear, should be viewed as an opportunity to take one step forward. A salesman will qualify to get promoted into management one sale at a time. A minister is one sermon at a time. A professor, one lecture at a time. A scientist, one experiment at a time. Anyone in business is one sale, one customer interaction, one conference, one speaking engagement at a time is an opportunity to take one step forward towards the large goal. Now, Dr. Schwartz warns us as we finish up here, sometimes it appears that someone achieves success all at once. But if you check the past histories of people who seem to arrive at the top suddenly, you'll discover a lot of solid groundwork was previously laid. People say things like, it took me 20 years to become an overnight success. You'll hear that from actors who went on auditions for 20 years and worked all kinds of part-time jobs and slept in crappy apartments with multiple roommates, and then suddenly they got in a hit movie or a hit show, became a multimillionaire. People like, unknown actor, who's that, came out of nowhere. Did not come out of nowhere. That's a similar story to my cousin Gabby, who did that for years, was always auditioning while she was working, and suddenly one of the shows she got on, she did a bunch of commercials and stuff. My mom would like, hey, your cousin was on another commercial or this or that, but then she got on a bunch of pilots that never panned out, but then one did, and after a few years it became the #1 show in prime time in the entire country, and the reruns made her a millionaire many, many, many times over without ever having to work again. Although she kept working, she actually became the president of the Screen Actors Guild for 2 terms, I believe. But it all started with the coming out of nowhere. And actually her claim to fame was, remember saying she was the nation's or the world's oldest teenager. She was the oldest high school student. I think she was 27 or 28 when she got the role as a high school student in the Beverly Hills 9010 show. Anyway, So successful people, those there's a saying that the shooting stars, people that seem to gain success very quickly, they burn out quickly as well. The way Dr. Schwartz put it, he says those quote successful people who get to the top suddenly will lose fame as fast as they found it because they were phonies. They had not built a solid foundation, just like a beautiful building must have a solid foundation. Then it's created from pieces of stone or bricks or whatever, each one seeming insignificant, but as they are all put together over time, creates a beautiful structure. So do this. Start marching toward your ultimate goal by making the next task you perform, regardless of how unimportant it may seem, one step in the right direction. Commit this question to memory and use it to evaluate everything you do. And ever since someone first recommended I read this book over almost 35 years ago now, I remember this question. I ask it all the time, and I help my clients to stay focused by asking this all the time. Before anything you do, ask, will this help take me where I want to go? So in business, the question is, will this get me closer towards my goal or not? This piece of software, going to this webinar, reading this book, hiring this consultant, placing this ad, putting up this social media post, doing whatever I'm doing during the day to day in my business, will this help take me where I want to go? If the answer is no, back off. If yes, press ahead. It's clear. We do not make one big jump to success. We get there one step at a time. I use the analogy of a staircase. Sure, maybe you think you can leap up 4 or 5 stairs at a time, but that's risky and dangerous. And what if you slip? Then you crack your head and you smash and you fall all the way back down to the beginning. So maybe you leap 4 steps and then 4 steps and then 4 steps, and then, you don't make it, you crunch, you crumble, and you go all the way back to the beginning. But if you just take that staircase one step at a time. In marketing, and if you want help with your marketing, go to thewowstrategy.com and I'll help you out. I always coach my clients or anyone to take one step at a time. When you run your ad, you want the ad to get the click to your website. That's it. The one purpose of the ad, the one step, is to get to the next step, to get the click to the website or the book the call on the calendar. And then the point of getting to the website is to get them to take this action, and then it's to this action, and then this action, and there's to get this email, then it's to click on this, and then to get on this and do that. It's one step at a time. That's how anything is much more sure to succeed than trying to take big leaps. So, an excellent plan is to set monthly quotas for accomplishment. Set down goals of how many responses, how many clicks you need to your ad, how many calls you need to make a sale, how many clicks you need to book a call. Make these quotas so that you can break it down into tiny little chunks, and that you can accomplish. You can say, what do I got to do to get 3 more calls on the calendar this month? What do I got to get 10 more clicks on that ad? Small goals so you can accomplish them. So examine yourself and decide what specific things you should do to make yourself more effective. And then Dr. Schwartz shares with us a 30-day improvement guide that I suggest, if by now for some reason you haven't gotten yourself out there and gotten a copy of this book, go get a copy of The Magic of Thinking Big by Dr. David J. Schwartz. Right here in the chapter, Use Goals to Help You Grow, there's a 30-day improvement guide. And you should fill that out. You should get to work on it. Stay on track, one step at a time. Small, boring, seemingly inconsequential tasks can add up to tremendous success. And that'll do it for Foundation Friday, June 23rd, 2023. Thanks for being here today, or watching on the replay, or listening, or reading this, or however you're getting. And I will be back with you again tomorrow on social media Saturday. Until then, over and out. Bye-bye.